live.
Welcome back to another episode of Normal Guys Talk Sports. Episode 30. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. It's been
It is
been a
Tuesday, about 2:40 start time. Little technical difficulties, but leave it to Matt to figure out and save the day. The computer, something was going on with the computer, so Matt had to call Audible and get on the laptop and figure it all out. But here we are on Tuesday, better late than never.
you know what I'm saying? It's always like some sort of technical problem.
Always something happening.
And
Always
actually,
something going on.
I guess the first thing I want to say on this show, because I've been thinking this in my head just in general, is like, when you have problems, don't just let them shits fester. Just take that, make that extra effort to solve your problems. Trust me, you'll thank yourself later. And you'll be an asset to everybody around you. Learn how to solve problems. That's how people get rich, Ed.
So people get rich. I'm all about efficiency and good habits and better habits. You know what I'm saying? Efficiency. I've been told we all have the same 24 hours in the day. Some may have more resources than others. Some may have more marketable skills and tools than others. But utilize your time, your resources, and be productive. As long as I'm productive in my day to day, like that's all. I'm at peace with that. I'm only getting better. If I sit around and do nothing, then I'd be doing myself a disservice.
Absolutely.
I always gotta do something. Every day I gotta do something productive.
Always got to be doing something productive, but like skills, know how to solve problems. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes you valuable out here. You know what I'm saying? But all that aside, how was your week, Ed?
It was cool. Let's see. What's today? It's the 28th of February. We got some sports, of course. I mean, we all got to work. We all got to be productive. And too out the ordinary that I recall. Just happy to be here. Happy to be at it once again. Happy to be productive and living my path and doing what I need to do to get to where I need to go. Happiness, having to look forward to. If you don't have things to look forward to, then that's why a lot of the world and the children are upset because they have things to look forward to. You have to have things to look forward to. That's happiness.
So, from that, let's lead into what some of these NBA teams have to look forward to.
What does everyone have to look forward to? All right. So we jump. Are we jumping the scores? Or what?
Yeah, let's jump into some
into
scores /
current events.
current events around the scores. You know what I'm saying?
So we are the 28th. So NBA teams return to action. Oh, I gotta get a drink before I do all this. I gotta do all this. So today is February 28th. The NBA players return from All-Star weekend break on February 23rd on a Thursday. So we have about 8-10 games on that day. We have Denver visiting Cleveland. Denver 115 to Cleveland's 109. We have Michael Porter Jr. with 25 points. We had Boston at Indianapolis. We had the Celtics in the win in overtime 142 to the Pacers 108 or 138. Jason Tatum with 31 points. We have Detroit at Orlando. We have the Magic winning 108 to the Pistons 106. We have Memphis at Philadelphia. We have the Sixers 110 to the Grizzlies 105. James Harden with 31 points. We have New Orleans at Toronto. We have the Raptors beating the Pelicans with Siakam with 26 points. We had the Spurs at the Mavericks. The Mavericks with the win, 142 to 116. Luka with 28 points.
Shout out to Luka. How just to break it up a little bit, how do you feel the Irving and Luka connection has gone so far?
So far, they've probably played at least 5 games, maybe coming up 6-7 games together. They both have the ability to score 30 points, and that's probably half of it. But are they? We'll see where they close out. I think they're top 4, top 6 team in the West. They're currently sixth. They're currently sixth, but I feel to get them to playoff team to contending team, because mind you, if memory serves, okay, so last year the Mavericks went to the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors and lost. They beat the Suns. They upset the Suns last year. The Suns had the best record last year, so they beat the Suns in the second round.
Nobody thought they was going to do that.
Play the Warriors in Western Conference Finals, lost to the Warriors. So they went to the Western Conference Finals. 2 years prior, they were losing the first round. So some would say respectfully that they overachieved because they weren't expected to go that far.
Right.
And not too many people were going to pick them against everyone's favorite team, the Warriors, right?
Correct.
So how did they get better to be in the conversation to contend? They are better, but I still feel they're a piece away. The Mavericks. And like I said, I feel they could lose, respectfully, depending on their matchup. I feel they could lose in the first round, or they can make it all the way to the finals, depending on who they play in the playoffs. I feel like it could go either way. It could go either way.
I actually do want to see Dallas at least make it to. I know it's at least make it to the finals.
At least make it the finals, bro. Again, the finals. That's a.
I know that's a tall task.
A lot of things have to go their way.
I totally get it.
I feel there's better rosters. I feel the Suns are still a better roster.
A lot of better rosters out there.
Right. Okay. So.
You can hop back into it.
Okay. Time in. We have Oklahoma at the Jazz. We have the Jazz winning in overtime 120 to OKC's 119. We had Lauren Marketing with 43 points. We had Golden State Warriors at the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers with the win, 124 to Golden State's 111. And then leading score, Malik Beasley, 25 points. Pause. You want to talk about Malik? Do you know who Malik Beasley is?
I would say
off the court or on the court?
I know a little on the court. I know a lot off the court.
Okay, off the court. So you know who he's teammates with on this team? You know who else is on the Lakers? He's like G League, and he's like kind of young guy, point guard. We've said his name before on the show.
I've said his name before on the show.
Scottie Pippen Jr.
I already knew he was going there.
Scottie Pippen Jr. So shout out to Cameron, right? You know, he got his show. Like I said, it's Killer Cam. You know, he's got episode 1, Sports Talk. We're tuning in. We're tuning in. He's got Mace as his guest.
Yeah.
And this was one of the topics he brought up. Rob Pelinka, what are you doing? You're going to look up if the guy has a troubled past and this and that and the third.
That's not even a troubled past. That's like
But are you going to look up one teammate was smashing the other teammates' moms? So
what type of, like, in my mind, like, what happens?
And he's the leading scorer, and he's the guy that you get to save the day. Malik Beasley was part of the trade of the Russell Westbrook trade. So and then he comes and then so that's how much you don't. That's not even considered. That's not even considered, or what?
What type of locker room talk is?
What type of locker room? They even said like they would kill a locker room. Who said that? I saw the. Mace said that, yeah, because I was seeing, yeah, shout out to Cameron, shout out to Mace. You know what I'm saying? They got their episode 1 coming out. Their show is called "It Is What It Is."
It is what it is.
And then they bring up a lot of like topics, untraditional topics in the sports world, and that was one of them.
No, like what type of locker room talk? Like if.
Could you not even be cool? But again,
no, I don't know how you could though. Because
how could you be cool? But at the same time, that's his mama embarrassing him. Like, come on.
That's a topic for another podcast.
That's another podcast.
But
that's digging a little too deep. But that with him being the leader of the score, I only brought that. I was like, damn, Malik Beasley. Like, do you know who Malik Beasley? I was like,
yeah, no, I know who Malik Beasley.
You know who Malik? You know what I'm saying?
I know who he is, and I know what he is doing.
He is in the top. He is in the headlines. He was in the Russell Westbrook trade on the court, and off the court, he used to be involved with
Miss Larsa Pippen.
Miss Larsa Pippen, which is Scottie Pippen Jr.'s
mother.
Great.
Praying for you, little Scotty.
Right. Man, he need to get up out of there.
I'll
force my way out.
I was about to say, like, you can't.
I'll force my way out.
How do you, even focus? Like, how do you even have a disagreement?
And what if he says some slick shit on
yeah.
top of it? And we practicing, we playing. and say we playing in the drill or 1-on-1 and he say some slick shit.
You go Draymond Green on him?
Come on. I don't know. That's weird. But you have to be a professional at all costs.
You do gotta be a
Everyone's
professional.
getting paid millions of dollars to play basketball.
Everybody getting paid
Wow.
millions.
Damn. All right.
But
Crazy. Right.
it ain't but so much a man gonna, or that bullying a man gonna take.
Right. Poke at the bear, caged bear. He gonna react. Right. Check you out. So next game we have the Portland Trailblazers visiting the Sacramento Kings. The Kings with the win, 133 to Portland's 116. De'Aaron Fox with 31 points. The next day we have about 8 games. This is February 24th, Friday. We have a New York Knicks visiting the Washington Wizards. Knicks with the win, 115. Joyce Randle, the high man, with 46 points. We have the Cleveland Cavaliers at the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks with the win, 136 to Cleveland's 119. Fresh off firing their coach, remember, Nate McMillan. So we'll see how Atlanta goes this year. They gave up a lot to put together their current team. And
they expecting
we'll see again.
They're expecting something to
They
happen.
expect results, correct. So next game we have Miami Heat against the Milwaukee Bucks, 128 to the Heat's 99. We have the Charlotte Hornets visiting the Minnesota Timberwolves, 121 to Minnesota's 113. LaMelo Ball, 32 points. Pause. I don't know if it was this game or another game. He got hurt. Hurt his ankle. He's going to be out for a little bit.
Let me look it up real quick.
Shout out to LaMelo Ball. Get well soon. He recently hurt himself. He hurt himself within a week ago. Since last show. Right. So
He is slated to miss the remainder of the season. Ankle. He fractured his ankle.
Breakers sucks. What that means, no one. His isolation drip, he hurt or anything like
Broke his own ankle.
Right, respectfully. It sucks. Well, soon. So we got winning against the Timberwolves, 121 to 113. Like I said, he had 32 points in that game. Chicago 131 and Brooklyn's 87. Zach LaVine 32 points. Phoenix Suns with the win, 124 to OKC's 115. Devin Booker 25 points. Pause. Kevin Durant has still not made his Suns debut, but it should be coming up any day now. So again, Kyrie Irving's played a few games. For
I was about to say he wasn't playing recently.
But Durant was hurt when he got traded.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So he, Durant is coming soon.
At least he gets some rest. You know what I'm saying?
Houston at Golden State. We have the Warriors with the win, 116. Houston, the Rockets 101. Klay Thompson 42 points.
Did you talk about the game I think you want to talk about?
We about to talk. Is the last but not least.
I'm going to pull it up on the screen.
Yeah, pull it up. Pull it up on the screen. Let's do it. So
how does this happen?
So how does this happen? I fell asleep, so I watched the replay like the next morning, right? So
is it no defense being played, or is it just great offense?
That's disrespect to the game. If you actually watch it, because I watched the game in entirety. If I miss a game, hold on. Okay, 2 seconds.
The only other thing that's really crazy about this game, to score that many points, and only win by 1 is crazy, but it's very competitive.
So take care of business. 20 seconds. You know how it goes.
But I got it up on the screen. You got De'Aaron Fox, 42 points. Malik Monk, 45 points. You also kind of got Domantas Sabonis with 20 points and 10 rebounds.
Double machine. There we go.
So
watch when I usually miss a game, and like I said, these games happen in California. Like if it's a start time there at 7, it's 9 o'clock out here. I got to be up early the next day. So I fell asleep during the game. I woke up to one of the greatest games ever played and this and that and the third. I'm like, what are they talking about? And I was like, I love the Kings, but what the heck are they talking about? And shout out to the Clippers too, my second favorite team. And it's Westbrook's debut. He had at least 14 assists. He had some points.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah,
okay,
Russell
so
Westbrook's debut.
I'm looking at the box score as well. Double overtime.
Double overtime. It went double overtime. What happened? Efficiency was there. It was like franchise record in points for like both teams. I think as far as like shot percentage was like really good. The first time the Kings had two 40-point scores in the same game. Kawhi had a heck of a game. Paul George had a heck of a game. If you got, like I said, and it was Russell Westbrook's debut, and
14 assists.
14 assists. How many points he had?
17. Kawhi Leonard with 44. Paul George with 34.
Right, come on.
Russell Westbrook with 17, but also 14 assists and 5 rebounds. Paul George with 10 rebounds and 34 points.
So, yeah, it was and then it's from that. I've heard before a long time ago, when you look at a box score, it's like half the story. Like, you see the numbers, you see the stats, but, like, there was a time the Kings got 4 stops in a row. The Kings were down by, like, 9 or 13 within 3 minutes left? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was.
They went on a run.
I thought it was, yeah, it was, like I said, so the Kings, young legs, the younger team, we've had, shout out to Kawhi Leonard, shout out to Paul George, all-time greats. But they've, again, a lot of miles on those wheels of transmission. So again, and then
some injuries
the strategy. Too. De'Aaron Fox said, if you please pull up this press conference, De'Aaron Fox, it's like he talks for like a minute, but he says something so pivotal. But he says again, it was up to them to speed up the game. They're the younger team, so they sped up the game. They went on runs. And like I said, they did 4 stops in a row. They had 2 steals, they drew a charge, and like something else. So they had 4. They got 4. They caused 4 turnovers in a row. Like again, just and that was like that amongst other things was very impressive as far as like 3-point shots made. There was a lot. They were breaking like all kind of records in this game. They said it was the second greatest game ever played, based on points and percentages, and 3 points made, and
88 points in the paint. You could tell y'all got them young legs on your team, though.
Right.
88 points in the paint versus 48 from the Clippers. They dropped a lot of 3-pointers on y'all, though.
No, and we did right back it down. We did. Hold on. I had this box score. Here we are. Totally something here. Never satisfied. All right.
It looked like y'all played.
So let's see. We had Fox. Monk went 6 for 12 for 3. Fox went 2 for 4. Davis went 2 for 3. Mitchell went 2 for 3. Kevin Huerter 3 for 7. Keegan Murray 1 for 4. Harrison Barnes 1 for 4. So everyone was a lot of threes being made on our side. And then the Clippers.
Definitely a crazy score, though.
No doubt. No, shout out to both teams played hard. Maybe a potential playoff matchup. Some people already said they want to see it. I prefer another team. The Clippers are still one of the best teams in the West, still one of the best teams in the league, in my opinion. Respect your opponent. And, again, Kawhi Leonard is still a top 5 player in the world. As far as I believe. He's that good. He's that good. The Clippers are that good. It could have went either way. Like I said, we won by 1 point. You know what I mean? But it's they're even talking about implementing rule changes because of this game.
How so?
Because I think Kawhi went over his minute restriction or something like that, and basically just like the All-Star game, having like a set score instead of like because they said it went as long as it did, which is BS. Because the NBA has been as long as it has, and there's been no rules against overtime.
I think they need to
overtime rules.
I think they need to let them play.
Let them play, exactly. That's the point. Again, this is double overtime game. I've seen games triple overtime, quadruple overtime before in my lifetime.
No, they need to let them play.
Right. So that's that. But no, again, just the game got a lot of national attention. The Kings are getting their recognition, their praise, their respect. We were the laughing stock
for a while, let me remind the world that past 16 years, have not made the playoffs and been below 500. And just as of late, we're the first time we've been 10 games over 500 in 17 years. So early candidate, Coach Mike Brown. All that I could go on.
You think y'all getting Coach of the Year?
Know the standards and shit, but no. But this game was this game is arguably the greatest. Like I said, the second greatest game of all time and the greatest game of this season. That's how much recognition and this game got. And it was just like even blew my mind. But it's just like, but based on statistics, numbers, it's high score. There's only one more game more high scoring than this
in history.
176, 175. So,
shout
out to that game. And again, I watched the full replay the next day. Right. So it was past my bedtime when that was over, for sure. So, moving forward. We'll get to more on the Kings later, of course. So next day, we have Saturday, February 25th. We have the Toronto Raptors at the Detroit Pistons. Toronto 95, Detroit's 91. We have the Miami Heat against the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets 108 to Miami's 103. We have the Indiana Pacers at the Orlando Magic. Indiana 121 to Orlando's 108. We have New Orleans Pelicans at the New York Knicks. The Knicks with the win, 128 to New Orleans 106. We have the Denver Nuggets at the Memphis Grizzlies, top two teams in the West, mind you. We had the Grizzlies with the win, 112 to Denver, the Nuggets 94. We have the Boston Celtics and the 76ers. This was Saturday night. This was like prime time to watch this. Okay, so the Boston Celtics 110, Philadelphia's 107. Joel Embiid shot a half court shot to tie the game, but it didn't count because he let it go too late.
Curiosity question.
Yes, sir.
Where do you think Joel Embiid stacks up as far as big men in the history of the game?
History of the game, great question. I think he's just as good as Joker. Just like Joker, I think, Joker's triple-double and this and that. Joker is top of the West right now. But I think Embiid is in the same conversation as Joker. All time, he's still got to get one done. He's gonna get criticized from Shaq the way he used to do Dwight Howard until he at least gets some hardware. Like that's what's going to separate him. He gets that. Patrick Ewing, top 75, never got it done. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of greats that never got it done. So, but to add to his resume, I think they've had better. They've could have made better decisions the past 5 years building that team. I think the main decision they made a mistake was to letting go Jimmy Butler, and getting James Harden, I guess, or even, drafting Ben Simmons, but the Ben Simmons thing is
41 points though.
Yeah, 41 points. He's the man.
From the center.
He's the man, but if James Harden leaves free agency, that's going to be a travesty, which could happen, by the way. So, to finish off the 25th of February on Saturday, we have the San Antonio Spurs visiting the Utah Jazz. Jazz with the win, 118 to San Antonio's 102. Sunday, February 26th, we had about 8 games. We had the Phoenix Suns at the Milwaukee Bucks finals rematch a couple years ago.
Yep.
Milwaukee Bucks with the win, 104 to Suns 101. Like I said, Kevin Durant is on the way. We have the Brooklyn Nets at the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta with the win, 129 to 127. They came out to the final. I saw this highlight. So the Hawks with that win, with the new look Brooklyn Nets. We have the Washington Wizards as the Chicago Bulls, Chicago 102 to Washington's 82. We have the Los Angeles Lakers at the Dallas Mavericks. Lakers 111 to Dallas's 108. The high man, Anthony Davis, 30 points. Pause. This is the game. This is the game LeBron got hurt.
This Mavs game?
This game right here. He was playing. He got hurt. He said he heard a pop. Yikes! Ooh. That's a red flag. He played it through. You know what I'm saying? Iron Man himself in the flesh, LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? Half man, half something else. Come on.
He's different.
Come on. You know what I mean? But respect to him for sure. Again, 20 years.
expecting that. What is he? 37.
37.
37. Yeah, born 1984, if I remember right, December 1984. You know, for this man to carry this team, you know what I mean? I grew up hating the Lakers, but I've never hated on LeBron. I will always, and I favored LeBron against all those Warrior teams, all those. They said he's reevaluated in 2 weeks. For the meantime, he's out indefinitely. After the All-Star break, it said the Lakers had to win 16 of their last 24 games to make the playoffs. If the Lakers do not make the playoffs, it'll be a travesty and for big changes on the horizon.
Foot injury.
2
weeks.
2 weeks reevaluated, not 2 weeks back. He said 2 weeks to be reevaluated, probably more time than that. He's out indefinitely. Shout out to LeBron. Everyone's favorite player, or at least one of them. Shout out to LeBron. You know, the playoffs would be more interesting with the Lakers and LeBron in it, but hey, they didn't make it last year. You know, he's outside of their championship year in the bubble, the Lakers have not too much success in the postseason. That was the only year they did anything.
And you know, people kind of make excuses for why they won that, but obviously you can't do that. But
they won it.
They won it. It is what it is.
And he even goes on record like, "Hey, we would have lost. Hey, we would have lost to the Warriors or whatever." You know, like. But you know, so yeah, like I said, he got hurt that game. You know, again, if you know, I don't know how much people believe in the Lakers going all the way to the finals this year. But you put them against anyone in the playoffs.
Nope.
You know, I mean, they got a chance, but they still got to get there, and they may not even get there. Get well soon, LeBron. Okay, so that was that game. Time in. So we have the Toronto Raptors at the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers with the win 118 to the Raptors 93. We have Sacramento Kings at the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Kings with the win 124 to the Thunder's 115. De'Aaron Fox 33 points. We have the Minnesota Timberwolves at the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors 109 to Minnesota's 104. Klay Thompson with 32 points. We had the Houston Rockets at the Portland Trailblazers. Portland with the win, 131. Houston's 114. Damian Lillard, 71 points. 71 points. He had 71 points in this game. He ties the season record with.
That's that's worth bringing up on the screen.
Yeah. He had 71. Yeah. But
Damian Lillard, 39 minutes, 71 points.
There's nobody. Again, there's probably 10,
There's
probably 10 players that are capable of doing that.
And
10, 15.
all time.
No, I mean, not all time. All time, you look at the, not all time, like right now. Like, right, they're able to do that. If you look at the list, there's been some, not all time. I think it's a little bit more than that. But, like, I say capability, like, Kobe scored, I don't even know what Jordan is off the top of my head. Is Jordan 69? But for sure, Kobe was 81. Chamberlain.
Granted, it is against the Rockets, but.
That's part of it. But a game is a game is a game.
And
a game is a game is a game. They're all NBA players. They're all grown men.
And looking at the rest of the stats, it kind of looks like he was the only one scoring.
Come on now, you can't. Do you recognize any of those names on that roster?
Nasir Little.
Okay, I couldn't tell you what team he's been for. That off the top of my head.
And Jabari Walker. That's about it.
Okay, you recognize these names. Okay.
I don't recognize any of the other ones, though.
Okay, Jeremy Grant is their second best player. He was, where did he come from? He was on the Pistons for years. Was he on the Pistons? Yeah, he was on the Pistons for years. They gave him big money because he was on the Nuggets with Jokic, and, he wanted a bigger role, more money, and he's the number 2 guy on Portland. But not everyone's making the playoffs. All right, so that's that game. Okay, and the final game on the 26th of Sunday was the Los Angeles Clippers visiting the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets with the win 134 to the Clippers 124 in overtime. A lot of minutes on the Clippers. Huh? So Joker 40 points and Kawhi Leonard with 33 points in that game. We have today's Tuesday. So yesterday was Monday, February 27th. We had 4 games. We had the Detroit Pistons of the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte 117 to the Pistons 106. Yeah, this is when LaMelo got hurt. He got hurt yesterday. Yeah, he got hurt. So this is when he got hurt. Okay. So yeah, shout out to LaMelo. And then get well soon. The one
get well soon.
But they're packing it in. They're thinking about a whole lot in Charlotte in the offseason for sure. Miami at the Philadelphia 76ers. The Heat with the win 101 to the Sixers 99. The Boston Celtics at the New York Knicks. New York with the upset 109 to the Celtics 94. And to close out the evening, we had the Orlando Magic at the New Orleans Pelicans. Magic 101 to the Pelicans 93. Rookie of the Year candidate Pablo Banchero with 29 points. And if you want to, so that sums up for the game summaries for the last week. And then we're going to go to the standings, starting with the Eastern Conference. We have some change. We have the Milwaukee Bucks in first place. They're on a 14-game winning streak.
Dang.
Right. So they are in second for the longest. They are just by a hair past the Celtics for first place in the East. These are the top 2 teams. It's going to come down to when something drastic happens. These are the top 2 teams in the East. I expect these 2 teams to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics. They have the most experience. And these are the last 2 teams to represent the Eastern Conference in the finals. The Celtics last year and the Milwaukee Bucks the year before that. So the Milwaukee Bucks in first place at 43-17, won the 14th game winning streak. In second place, we have the Boston Celtics 44-18.
This will probably flip flop with over the past next few weeks, but 14-game winning streak is pretty impressive.
Right, Giannis is the man, right? So Giannis making a case for MVP. You know, if he keeps that up, they finish first. Like I said, I always thought the MVP, for the most part, should be the best player on the best team. What else are we talking about?
Yeah.
The best player on the best team. What are we talking about? Because then you say MVP is the best player, or is it
the most
team
valuable
player? So if you're averaging 50 points a game, but if your team's like 500, are you really the MVP? You see what I'm saying? Is stats with winning.
There is a winning component to being the MVP.
You got to win, right? I think it's happened like once or twice, either basketball, football, Super Bowl MVP, Finals MVP, whatever. The player came from the losing team. It was like once or twice. And basketball,
MVP,
football, best player, best team, the winning team.
MVP could be a player that doesn't necessarily win it all, but it's not like the last place team's leading scorer.
Right. So, you got to be released top 4 seed. Realistically, top 4 seed.
Yeah.
Realistically, yeah, top 4, top 6 seed. Like, you're going to get it. Like, you're in their conversation. So,
keep going.
We have in third place, we have the Philadelphia 76ers, 39-21. They're 4 games back at first place. So you have in fourth place, you have the Cleveland Cavaliers. I call is still an exciting team. Still is a sleeper team. 30. Okay, so the Cleveland Cavaliers are 39-25 in fourth place. In fifth place, we have the New York Knicks. They've made a jump in the standings. They surpassed the Brooklyn Nets in the standings for now, only by half a game. So we have the New York Knicks in fifth place at 36-27. In sixth place, we have the Brooklyn Nets at 36-26. We have in seventh place the Miami Heat. They've been around seventh for a while now at 33-29. We have the Atlanta Hawks in eighth place at 31-30, just a smidge over 500. We have the Toronto Raptors in ninth place and 30-32. This is a team that looked to keep their core together at the deadline. A lot thought they were going to make a shakeup. They still have some championship components there.
Shout out to Nate Passion in the building. We see you, Shorty.
Shout out to Nate Passion.
We see you, Shorty.
Toronto Raptors 30-32. Like I said, they still got some pieces there, but how much longer are they going to keep those guys there? I.e. Van Fleet and Siakam, champions and all-stars. And then 10th seed, we have Bradley Beal and the Washington Wizards at 28-32. How long is Mr. Bradley Beal going to stay in Washington? We'll see, and then on the outside looking in, from the 11th to 15th place, we have the Chicago Bulls at 28-33. They elected to keep their core together when they were projected to be one of the teams to break it all up. And they added Mr. Patrick Beverley, and I feel he is the spark that they need to sneak their way into the playoffs. We have, in 12th place, we have the Indiana Pacers, 27-35. My man's Tyrese Halliburton is there, former Sacramento King. The Pacers were higher in the standings, but Tyrese was out for an extended time. He's back. Let's see if he can help his team into the playoffs this year. In 13th place, we have the Orlando Magic at 26-36. Again, with their number one pick, their rookie Pablo leading the way. In 14th place, we have the Charlotte Hornets at 20-43. Again, look for them to break that all up. Yeah, right. It just might be time. And then last but not least, we have the Detroit Pistons at 15-47.
Hey.
With a former number one pick, Cade Cunningham there, and them looking to get a high draft pick as well in this upcoming draft. Some teams already think about the draft. Let's keep it real.
I mean, if you lost that many games,
right,
it should be.
They're already thinking about the draft. So next, so we have the Western Conference. So leading the way in the West, we have the Denver Nuggets.
Denver
and
Chicken
MVP,
Nuggets.
Two-time MVP back-to-back. He's looking to get his third one unless someone gets in his way. Again, Jokic, best player, best team. The best in the West.
Jokic is a great player, but do you think he's the best player in the league right now?
There's nothing he can't do. Triple doubles, offense, defense. He's big. He's big. Who's guarding that? Who's stopping him? And he can pass the ball. That's the element that not all big guys can do. Pass the ball. Handle the ball. So he's not my favorite player. It's not like, but
I mean, he's a great player.
He did win MVP back-to-back years.
Maybe I'm thinking about it from the perspective of, like, as great of a player as he is, he's not really talked about as much as, like, everybody else.
You know what's part of it? He's European.
He's Serbian, I believe.
Is he selling shoes?
He's not.
See what I'm saying? Is he selling shoes? Is he in commercials? Is he selling jerseys? You know what I mean? Like, has he won a championship?
He has
these
not.
are all the things. If you're the best, these are all the questions that come up.
Is he the best then?
Is he the best? I mean, his MVP's got something to say about it. He got 2 MVPs. You know what I mean? Like, so we gotta, like I said, so we'll see how that plays out. But if the Nuggets stay in first place, he just might get it. Would I like to see it happen? Whatever. I'm neutral off of it. But I feel the Nuggets just got lucky. The Nuggets drafted him in the second round.
Yep.
That means every team passed on him, and some teams twice.
Yep. Yeah.
He got drafted in the second round. So it's not like so. But again, that's how valuable the draft is. How many busts have there been, and how many diamonds in the rough have there been?
I mean, it's almost impossible to know a lot of times in the draft. I mean, they have their guesses.
It's a crapshoot.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot.
It's a crapshoot.
It's a gamble.
Lottery tickets. It's the lottery ticket. Every guy is a lottery ticket. Will you save us?
Yep.
Or not? Right. So in second place, we have the Mets, Moran and company at 36. Your Sacramento Kings at 325 in third place, like games above 500 in 17 years. Shout out to the Sacramento Kings. See y'all in the playoffs. I'm going to fucking cry when the Kings make the playoffs. It has been 16 years. Hell yeah. I'm going to be so damn happy, excited, emotional.
Shout out to Cali in the building. Best podcast off the dribble.
Off the dribble. Best taco truck in DFW. Off the dribble.
Cali-O's.
Shout out to Big Homie. Appreciate you forever. Much love, sir. All right. So we have, shout out to the Kings. Shout out to the Kings.
Like I said, they laughed at us when we projected 40 wins. They laughed at us when they said we wanted to make the playoffs this year. Looks like we're going to host the playoff series as long as we stay in third or fourth place. Keep it up, guys. So, and then we have the Phoenix Suns in fourth place at 33-29. 33-29. The newly acquired Kevin Durant is on that team. He has yet to play yet. He is going to play like tonight or tomorrow, something like that. He will play soon. We'll talk about it next week.
Speaking of basketball players, shout out to Chromatic in the building.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to I was thinking about you.
And he said when you coming to scoop up your birthday gifts.
Shout out to Chrome. Shout out to Chrome. He's been here. Shout out to Chrome. Chrome got me this for either my Christmas or my birthday. Like 2 years ago, he got me a little Jimmy G right here. And last year on my birthday, he got me this towel. What else he gave me? So, yeah, Chrome got me this, and Chrome got me this. So, shout out to Chrome. And he said he got a birthday gift for me. I need to pick it up soon, sir. I'll call you soon, text you soon. Much appreciation and love to one of the triple OGs around here, Chromatic.
Shout out to Chromatic.
Yeah.
Check out his music too.
Yeah, check out his music. Yeah. He's done a lot of things, a lot of shows, a lot of things with the music for sure. So we have we have the Phoenix Suns. Like I said, fourth place, 33-29. Kevin Durant will be playing soon. We'll update you on that accordingly. We have the Los Angeles Clippers in fifth place at 33-30 with the newly acquired Russell Westbrook. I feel they match up with anyone. Again, this is another team, respect, love to the Clippers, that could lose in the first round or make it all the way to the finals. It depends on who they play. Okay, so we have the sixth place Dallas Mavericks at 32-30. Jason Kidd's been calling out his stars and the whole team. He's been saying some select words that hopefully that motivates them to take it to the next level. And then we have the Golden State Warriors in seventh place at 31-30. Klay Thompson, he's still putting up 40 pieces. Draymond Green was sitting out last time I saw. I don't know what's going on with him. And last time I checked, Steph Curry was out indefinitely. I don't know when he's coming back. Like I said, I feel a lot of miles on the tires, a lot of miles on that transmission.
He got something left in him.
They got something left, but
he got one more left in him.
We gotta. The West is stacking up.
Yeah.
But again, no one wants to play the Warriors in the first round. Let's get that out the way.
They're only 4 games behind y'all.
That means we got to lose 4 games in a row. They got to win 4 games in a row. We're losing more. We're winning more than we lose. You know what I'm saying? This is a 500 team we're talking about without their star player. That's what we're talking about.
But it's not looking good.
It's not looking good. There we go. And then we have 8th place, the Utah Jazz. This 500 team we're talking about right here at 31-31. The Utah Jazz, they had the big run in the beginning. They were projected a team to tank, but they got an all-star starter kind of out of nowhere, which was the Donovan Mitchell trade and Lauri Markkanen, and other pieces that are proven valuable and could be part of winning situations if it's a part of the Jazz or elsewhere. We have the Minnesota Timberwolves at 9th place at 31-32. The Gobert trade might be one of the worst trades ever. It depends on the success of their season this year and next year. They gave up at least like 4 picks to get him. And is he the right piece next to Karl Anthony Towns, your franchise? And then in 10th place, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. They went through a landslide. They're right now 30-32 in 10th place. So just to elaborate on are you familiar with the play-in tournament? Do you know how it works, kind of?
The play-in tournament?
The play-in tournament.
No.
Okay. So back in the day, you want to pull the standings. So back in the day, it was just the top 8 seed to make the playoffs, right?
Correct.
So seed 1 against 8, 2 against 7, 3 against 6, 4 against 5.
Highest seed plays the lowest seed.
There you go. And then the next round, 1-8 against 4, 5, et cetera, et cetera. So probably at the bubble is when they first started it. They projected like the rest of the season because of COVID, X, Y, Z. So they didn't just have solely playoff teams. They had a few other teams as well to have the opportunity to make the playoffs. Right, in the middle of COVID, the bubble, what have you. So they added the 9th seed to make the play-in game. So the 8th seed and the 9th seed would have to play each other to be the 8th seed.
Right.
So it was like a one-or-done type of game.
So they did that in the past 2 years, and this will be the third year.
It's like a sudden death game.
There you go, to make the playoffs.
Yep.
So now this
Which
year,
is always entertaining.
right, which gives a lot of attention to the mid-tier teams, not just the top teams.
Yep.
There you go. So now it's the 7 and 8 play and 9 and 10 play. So 7 and 8 play for 7th place. Right. So whoever wins, so this year, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got so as an example, we have so if the playoffs started today, loose example, we have the Warriors, the Jazz, the Timberwolves, the Pelicans. So the Warriors and the Jazz would play for 7th place. And let's just, for laughing giggles, the Warriors win, they're picked to win, they win. So they get 7th place, they keep 7th place. So the Jazz lost that game, and of course that game isn't Golden State because they got home court. Then the 9 and 10 game plays. So that's sudden death. So the loser, you're out, right? So say that Minnesota plays New Orleans for 9 and 10 to keep on going. New Orleans loses, New Orleans out. So the next game would be Utah and Minnesota for 8th place. And then the winner of that becomes 8th seed. The loser of that is out. So it is like the pre-playoffs, the play-in tournament, then the playoffs start. So they just added that since the bubble. I think it's great because it gives more incentive to the teams in the middle of the road to not just make the playoffs, but to make the play-in tournament, and it eliminates elements of tanking. Because if you're like 10th seed at best, you don't care. You're going to tank. Like, screw it. But the ability to be 9th or 10th, and you still have that brings the want, the need to still be competitive throughout the year versus be like, you know what, we're, respectfully, we're the Charlotte Hornets, we're the Detroit Pistons, we're the Spurs, we're the Rockets, we're so far back we can't make up ground. We're just already thinking about the draft.
Right.
So the play-in tournament is is the play-in tournament.
So sudden death.
Sudden death pre-playoff tournament.
Yeah.
There you go. So, and then the points that are accumulated in the just side note, because there's points at the playoffs and there's points at the play-in tournament. It's not playoff points, if that makes sense, because they keep track of that. So it doesn't count for the playoffs. So that is that.
So the Warriors.
So if the playoffs started today,
the Warriors and the Jazz and Timberwolves and Pelicans will be playing for their playoff lives.
Right. Because if the Golden State Warriors, if they were to lose 2 games in a row, they're done. And they got 7th seed. So say they lost the first game, which that happened last year. The Pelicans upset the Clippers.
There's not that much disparity between all 5 of these teams.
A lot of these seedings could jump back and forth. There's only half a game and a game separating a lot of these teams. In the West for sure. So a lot of jumping around can still happen. Time check. We're at 48 minutes. Okay. So that closes out basketball for the most part, unless you have any final thoughts. That was the games for the past week, and that was the standings as of today, which is February 28th, the year of 2023.
We close out on basketball. I had a lot to say about basketball today.
There we go.
But yeah, rest of the season leading into the playoffs should be an interesting playoffs. Hopefully, you get Kevin Durant back and he gets in the mix. Obviously, I kind of identify with the Dallas Mavs since I didn't grow up with a basketball team. So it'd be awesome to also see what Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving get done. Even though I don't think they're going to actually make the finals. But, I think it'd be interesting. Okay.
Moving on to football.
Okay.
So we have some NFL news. We are in the off season. We got the draft. It's still a month or 2 away. We have some movement. Do we have some movement? We had one at the top of my head.
You know what we could go into, bro?
What?
Free agents.
Free agents. Top free agents. Headline ranking. Free agents. That is great. When does free agency start?
April.
April.
So, right here, we can start right here.
Number one, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Lamar Jackson. He is the number one free agent. He is 26 years old. That's 19 years younger than Tom Brady. That's a whole lot of football left. So,
all right,
the king of Baltimore, the savior of Baltimore. What has to happen?
I don't know what
has to happen. What is likely to happen?
What I feel is if Lamar Jackson leaves, it'll split the fan base, obviously.
Right, shit.
Because you can make
holy crap, I could imagine.
As I keep going on. I could
imagine. Star quarterback, I can't imagine. Star quarterback.
Especially since we've never
free
had
agency, one. Holy crap.
But, I mean, he is a free agent this year.
Right.
This is his fifth year.
Right. But to be a fan of a team, and you're telling me the reason you lose the star quarterback is through free agency via money? Yikes! How does that settle with the fan base? It doesn't. Correct.
But see, all the time on the show, I'm always saying, "Hey, we need to figure out how to pay him. Hey, we need to figure out how to pay him." And me personally, I feel, "Hey, we need to figure out how to pay him." But gotta play devil's advocate for a second. You know,
look at all angles. Gotta look at all angles. Correct.
We'd be paying Lamar Jackson 40%
of the payroll.
Holy
crap. 40%. 40% of the pie.
Yeah.
60% is to the 52 other players because there's 53 players on the roster.
And Lamar Jackson obviously
takes
isn't
up 40%.
He's not out there by himself.
Unless that's guaranteed 15 wins. Yikes.
So,
yikes.
Outside of Patrick Mahomes, every player in the NFL who has
I got a good question that you probably know better than me. Like, I'm probably more familiar with the NBA
pay scale.
Huh?
Pay scale.
Salaries.
Right.
You know, as far as this and that. So, and I know, okay, in the NBA, you could probably, I'm probably more familiar with the NBA pay scale. That's my point.
Right.
And then every team is different, as far as a salary cap and depending on what you do and depending on your owner.
The NFL salary cap is almost based off of the economics of the world or inflation.
Right.
So every year the salary cap does raise, but at the same time, NFL salaries are raising.
Yeah.
To account for that. So it's not, the NFL pay scale is always, the NFL pay scale is more set up to where as though the talent is evenly distributed throughout the league.
Right.
You're not going to have
super teams, the Yankees.
You're not going to have Yankees, or you're not going to have LeBron, Bosh, and D Wade on one team.
Football, right.
As of, NFL terms, you're not going to have Peyton Manning be your starting quarterback and then have Tom Brady backing him up. You know what I'm saying?
You're not going to have all pro on just one team.
Correct.
Right.
There's a limit to what they can
backups,
pay.
You can't stack a team.
There's a limit to the amount of money they can spend.
Right.
But that encourages competitiveness in the league. That's pretty much what the
player's going to want it. Again, why would I back up Tom Brady, Peyton Manning when I could be my own guy and make max money?
But
because there's 32 teams.
But think about it. If there was an uncapped league, if they were going to pay Tom Brady $40 million to sit on his ass, you think he wouldn't do it? Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, I mean, that's, like I said, it encourages competitiveness throughout the league. So if in the case of Lamar Jackson, we spent a lot of money on defense. We spent a lot of money really on defense. I ain't on front. We spent a lot of money on defense, and I know that if they sign him, some pieces are gonna fall off. Some pieces are gonna fall off, and it's more
just like when the Ravens signed Joe Flacco and they lost Anquan Bolton.
Yes,
because if finances was an issue, they would have kept Anquan Bolton.
We haven't had a player like Anquan Bolton since he left on that team. So I like I said, Lamar Jackson is almost like it's a rock and a hard place, this situation, because it's like, all right, 40% of the entire salary.
Time out. How do you feel about what's his face making the Pro Bowl? I don't think we ever had that conversation.
Tyler
How did that
Huntley?
even happen?
You talking about Tyler Huntley?
Yes.
How do I feel about it?
How did it happen? Did he replace Lamar?
Okay. No. Well, obviously Patrick Mahomes is not gonna play.
Okay.
Josh Allen, I believe he opted out.
Sure.
Tua, I believe is also injured.
He don't need to play. Right.
Lamar is also injured.
Right.
And
so it's a case of like who's left?
I think it was more so like a case of like, well,
you had Carr make it. This is the AFC we're talking about.
I don't think Carr made it.
No, he was a replacement,
I think he might have played in the game, but I think it was more so like well, you're here and there's nobody else who really wants to do it. You know, the Pro Bowl.
To get named Pro Bowl and you played like 2 games.
Well, he didn't play in 2 games. He played in
whatever, my bad. 5 games. Okay.
5 or 6 games. But do I think he should have actually been in the Pro Bowl?
But who would have?
No.
Who would have won?
But it would have been a good look. You know, I mean, it's a good look, Tyler Huntley, because it gives him more exposure. But do I actually feel like he should have been in the Pro Bowl? Maybe not. But I'm like, oh, shit, Ravens quarterback in the Pro Bowl.
Josh Allen's not there. Tua is not there. Mac Jones, okay, no one out the Jets. What's his face? Probably opted out because he. Going off, Cleveland's going. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence. Did he make the Pro Bowl?
He could have made it. Yeah, I feel.
He should, right?
I think he played. Trevor Lawrence did play.
Okay, so
he was there.
No one off the Titans is going. No one off the Colts is going. No one off the Texans is going. All right, the AFC West. The Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, he's playing the Super Bowl. He's not going. The Chargers. Herbert.
I just think
Herbert, he could have been there, should have been there. Herbert put up big numbers. That's my man's. Raiders. Carr, I believe he was there. And last but not least, Russell Wilson. Hell no, he ain't going. So yeah, you really look at the AFC, like, yeah, who's going?
So the quarterbacks,
who's going?
The quarterbacks for the Pro Bowl on the AFC side were Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, and Tyler Huntley.
Joe Burrow did make it.
Yes.
Tyler Huntley got replaced.
No, Tyler Huntley
got
named as well.
Right, he got named.
Now, but here's the thing. Here are the other remaining quarterbacks that could have gone. Ryan Tannehill,
maybe.
Jacoby Brissett, Derek Carr, Derek Carr, Russell Wilson.
Tannehill. These are all below 500 teams, though.
Right, but that's who's left.
Right, that's who's left, correct.
So it could have been anybody.
Could have been anybody.
Granted, Snoop, that's what we call him, Tyler Snoop Huntley.
658 yards? Bro, 658 yards. And you had the Pro Bowl. That's just, it was just wild to me, but I wanted to get some of an explanation. I feel you kind of helped, but that just seemed.
He was there.
We've never had this conversation.
He was there.
We've never had this conversation about your homie making the Pro Bowl.
The reason he played is because he was just standing there. You ever? I'm about to do a have a Shannon Sharp moment. You ever go out to the club and you meet a girl and you don't necessarily know why she there? She like you, but you just there. You know what I'm saying? He's just there. Just there. And he's the one that got took home that night.
QB2, man. What I tell you about QB2, he started the season QB2. Then you behind Lamar, so you never know what's gonna happen. Then he makes the doggone Pro
Bowl. Yes.
Wow.
I want to say that but I ain't gonna lie. To me, the Pro Bowl.
It's not what it was.
It's not what it was.
It's not what it was, but it's still
something he could put on his resume.
On your resume, some on your profile. I was better than majority of the players in the league. That's what that means. That's a stamp of like, I'm the shit. I'm a Pro Bowler. I'm the shit. But
I don't get it.
I'm better than 80, 90% of the players in my position. That's what that means. I'm better than the majority of the MFers in the league. That's what that means. Doggone it.
So there was nobody left.
There's nobody left. I get it.
That wanted to do it.
That wanted to do it, right? Keyword, wanted to do it.
They get paid like 20 or 30 grand to play that game, too.
But the majority going to charity, and it's just a showcase.
No, they ain't no charity. It go in their pocket.
20, 30,000? I mean, shoot. Some of them do it. just like come on.
No, that's everybody who plays.
But okay.
In the Pro Bowl.
Right.
I think. Well, actually, no, I might be wrong. I think the winning team gets about 10,000 more.
Right.
And but everybody gets paid to play in the Pro Bowl.
So.
But yeah. Oh, we were on free agents. We could bring up a couple more, but Lamar Jackson.
Wait, big emphasis on we'll kind of run through this. Geno Smith, number 2. Seattle be insane not to keep him. Yeah. He was breaking records, franchise records.
But at the same time, he's not the long time solution.
He's okay. Correct. Then you draft a guy.
Yeah.
Then you draft a guy.
You keep him and you probably draft somebody.
He made the Pro Bowl in the NFC.
Yeah.
He gave the 49ers a run for the money, but we beat them. You know, because they were leading the NFC West for a little bit, but the 49ers, they beat them twice. But I'm not even gonna lie, like I was like, oh snap, like this guy plays well, and when he played the 49ers, you know, he played good games and gave us a run for our money. Yeah. So
Geno Smith came a long way from getting his job broke.
He come a long way. Like I said, he if you remember, he was on the Jets. He was Mark Sanchez's replacement.
They wrote him off, but he ain't right back.
There you go, that part. So look for Seattle, sign him back. I don't see him going anywhere else.
Javon Hargrove, interior defensive lineman for the Eagles.
Eagles need to keep, again, they want to go back, they should keep everybody. Again, they made it with their team. You know, they should keep all those pieces together if they think they're going to go back.
So you may not be familiar with Orlando Brown, but I am. Orlando Brown was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow, so you really know this guy.
Drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. He's actually the son of Orlando Brown Sr., who also played for the Ravens. God rest his soul.
Wow. Okay.
But what happened with Orlando Brown is he signed a rookie deal with the Ravens. Our left tackle got injured, Ronnie Stanley. He moves over to left tackle, and then he has actually a decent season.
Yeah.
So Orlando Brown comes back like, hey, I should be getting paid left tackle money.
Right.
Left tackle is the highest paid position on the offensive line.
Because it's weak side.
Yep.
Weak side.
Blind side.
Blind side. Yeah. Blind side.
So Orlando Brown comes back, wanting more money. He wants a new deal.
Right.
And he wants to get paid like a top offensive lineman.
Trent Williams.
So what happens?
Like a Trent Williams.
What happens
is
the
best left tackle in the league today.
We trade Orlando Brown to the Kansas City Chiefs because they had just lost in the Super Bowl to the Bucs, and they had that whole offensive line situation happen.
Right.
But now his rookie deal is up.
So,
but granted, they just won a Super Bowl out there in.
So he's commanding big money.
He's going to command some money.
He's going to command some money, and he already got his ring, so maybe he doesn't have the incentive to stay.
But yeah,
make more money elsewhere, and he's already a champion.
So
Chiefs rookie deal.
Chiefs gave him an opportunity to play left tackle for Patrick Mahomes. He's a young player, and then But yeah, shout out to Orlando Brown.
Daniel Jones at 5.
He gonna want like $40 million.
The Giants
I can't see it.
The Giants keep. What else he going? If they had a bad year, him and Barkley, then throw both these guys away. But the fact that they had their playoff year and they beat the Vikings in Minnesota in the playoffs, that's impressive. And everyone wrote the Giants off at the beginning of last season. The Giants were one of the sleeper teams this past season in the 2022 season. So, yeah, you give Daniel Jones the money. You give Saquon Barkley the money. If you don't, then I feel it's taking a step back in the franchise. You drafted these guys. You held on to these guys. You dealt with them with their injuries and all that. You
give him $40 million though.
I mean, or he walks and then they're set back as a franchise, or he walks and then they draft someone and it's a couple more years before they even smell the playoffs.
Do you feel
they smell the playoffs? You got to build on that. If you're them,
do you feel like Daniel Jones changes that much for the team?
He's dynamic. He's ran a lot of yards. Is he? I mean, do I put him in top 10 quarterback category? Not necessarily, but he's.
Why give him top 10 quarterback money then?
Sometimes you have to. Some teams you have to, or you lose him for nothing.
Man, that's fucked up.
Or you lose him for nothing, and you have to start from the drawing board because maybe another team. There's five 5 or 10 teams out
I believe
there
in giving people
that
what
aren't
they
even
worth.
smelling the playoffs that will pay this guy the money because he already has playoff success. He's won a playoff game.
A playoff game.
A playoff game. So less the quarterbacks thing. NFL can say that.
Mark Sanchez has won playoff games.
But okay. It's part of all the variables that come in consideration. He's won a playoff game.
Nick Foles has won a Super Bowl.
Okay, and that's added to, well, he was at the end of his leg, but he did it. When everyone counted him out, he won a lot of people some money that day.
Set number 6, we got your boy David Carr.
David Carr, he's already talking to a few teams. I saw reports of him talking to
the Jets,
the Jets, the Saints, and the Panthers. So he probably peaked as a player with the Raiders. It was above him. They drafted. They could have had better draft the past 2 years. They've lost 2 first-rounders to young dumb stuff. They've had to cut players for off the field young dumb stuff. So that's not his fault. You got the running back. Jacobs. He's talking about he's on his way out.
This Vegas experiment ain't going well so far.
Devontae Adams came there for him, but he's committed to the team regardless, and he's going to help pick the next quarterback. But Derek Carr is on his way out the door in Las Vegas. He's been released.
Another Eagles player, Chauncey Gardner.
Like I said, you can't pay everybody. So if they start losing some of these guys,
and also you're gonna have to pay your boy. Actually, no, Chauncey Gardner's not the wrong team. Chauncey Gardner plays for the Jags, but the next player plays for the Eagles. James Bradbury. He's now famous for that hit that kind of gave him that penalty.
Again, at the end, on Pat Mahomes.
At the end?
Yeah, that sucks. Like sometimes you're gonna be remembered for one mistake, one bad play. And
Holding.
Again, the probability of the Eagles going back is against them. You know what I mean? Again, unless you got Tom Brady on the roster, for you to go to the Super Bowl and go back, or Pat Mahomes on your roster, the probability is against you to go back every year, right?
But isn't Jalen Hurts a good player?
But if he start losing some of these pieces that got him to the Super Bowl.
So we actually do got a Raiders fan, Callie, in the building. He said Carr needs to go home and become a grandpa. Now, I don't know about this next comment you made, but I'm going to read it. We need Russell Wilson.
No. This is maybe 10 years ago.
I don't know if anybody, I don't know. I ain't going to count Russell out.
Russell Wilson's, I think he's staying with, they just hired, what's his face? That's big news.
Sean Payton.
Yeah. The Saints traded Sean Payton for a pick. You could still do that to the Broncos, so that he's the new coach of the Broncos. They fired their coach, and he has Russell Wilson. I think that experiment lasts for one more year, unless he is at least 500. That's going to end bad.
So I want to touch on something. I want to go back to Daniel Jones for a second. So you got Daniel Jones, who's going to want a lot of money. Guess who else is a free agent who's going to want a lot of money?
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley.
Keep them both. You keep them both. Now it's those is the guys that they drafted high. They've dealt with. They held on to an injury, stood by their side. Rain or shine. See that through. If both of these guys stunk up the joint last year and these guys were under 500, then let them walk. Who cares? But the fact that they despite it all, they brought success to that team this past season when no one saw it coming. You reward these guys for that.
For sure. They
made the playoffs and won on the road against the Vikings, and not every. Again, I wasn't quick to bet on either one of those. Again, they upset them. So like I said, you got to give credit when credit's due, and you got to look at a lot of variables, and that's one of the variables. Like I said, put some respect on Daniel Jones' name and Saquon Barkley's name.
So I passed on just Saquon Barkley in the fantasy draft because I thought he was injury prone. He has been the past 2 years, and he had a monster season this year, and he was reliable. Shout out to Saquon Barkley.
I want to skip down a little bit. You got Odell Beckham.
He was hanging out in Dallas a little bit. He was hanging out with some of his homies off the Cowboys, some defensive players.
30 years old.
30 years old. That's the next chapter. That's the next chapter in football. The chapter before is your 20s, but turning 30 is.
Shout out to Drunk in the building.
Shout out to Drunk. Our favorite.
Drunk says,
arguably our favorite viewer, our favorite.
I'll let Daniel Jones walk before I let a healthy Saquon.
I'd let it. Oh, true. If I had to pick one of the two, I'm picking Barkley. Yeah, I'm picking Barkley. Of course, I'm picking Barkley. But Jones came out first. Yeah, if I got to pick one of the two, hell yeah, I'm picking Barkley. Hell yeah, I'm picking Barkley.
Where do you think Odell goes if Odell plays this year?
I think the Cowboys is the option. I think 49ers is the option. The Cowboys is probably number one though. The Giants maybe if they keep it all together, but I think they still got a ways to go if he wants to win. I think the top two teams in the NFC, I really have to look at it in no particular order. I think the 49ers is going to be, of course, a force. I think the Cowboys is going to be a force. You know what I mean? They got their defensive stuff. You got the Eagles in there. I don't see him going to the Eagles. They're probably already set with their receiver core. Who else in the NFC? Like I said, they got to be contenders or close to it. He's not playing with freaking Tom Brady anymore.
Drunk says, I'm good on OBJ. I'd rather have Keenan Allen once he's released.
Keenan Allen is going to release.
I want to touch on this next player, too, because we already kind of touched on him, but I want to say a little bit more. Josh Jacobs.
Shout out to Josh Jacobs. He is half Filipino.
I didn't know that.
Right. I found that out within the past.
He don't look like it.
He is, though. He's got the flag on it. Like I said, I saw some stuff on it. He's got the flag on his like I said, he is a supporter of.
Callie comments and says, what do you think the Houston Texans are going to do?
Holy shit.
The Houston Texans are going to draft players until they're good, pretty much.
They just hired 49er coordinator. I think it was our defensive coordinator. And he was a former player of the Texans.
DeMeco.
Rays? Yeah.
I thought it was DeMeco Ryan.
Right. Ryan, I'm tripping. But he is our check it out. See that Filipino flag right there?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw a little thing. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that either. So yeah, shout out to Josh Jacobs, my Filipino cousin.
But I would say the Texans got like a good 2-3 more years of losing.
They still got their quarterback is someone you never heard of. They got to figure out who their guy is. The coach is the right direction. They're starting from scratch since they probably won like 2 games last year.
Yeah, they got a couple more years.
They're going to be drafting and the division's wide open. Their division's arguably one of the worst ones, the AFC South. So they're in there with the Titans. They're probably going to rebuild next couple of years. Jaguars barely made it, and Titans, Jaguars, Texans, and the Colts. So I think is respectfully, arguably one of the worst divisions. So it's easier to bounce back. If you could if you're at least 500 team in the AFC South, you could win the division, and make the playoffs.
Yeah. Drunk chimed in and says, Lovie Smith screwed the Texans by winning that last game. They could have had the number 1 pick. Bryce Young for the freebie.
I think a lot of emphasis goes on one and two. I think you got to really wait 3-4 years before you can fully judge 1 and 2. What if you miss at 1? And then you're paying the guy at 2 less money than you would have paid him at 1.
They got 2, the 2nd and the 12th pick. So that's still pretty damn good.
Second and 12th pick?
Yes, that's still pretty damn good.
You
forgot they Deshaun Watson pays so many dividends.
Right, they got a lot of picks back.
That 12th pick is, I believe, from Cleveland. Them, right? It's from Cleveland.
The 2 is their own.
Correct.
And the 12th is from Cleveland.
Yeah.
So you got 2 and 12. Again, if you pick correctly, you could win 3, 4, 5 more games than you did the year before. You got to start small. You're not going to win 10 more games overnight, And I don't know what their defense looks like off the top of my head. They're probably drafting someone on the defense. I don't know. Are they drafting a quarterback? I don't know. I haven't looked at mock drafts yet. As the draft comes closer, we'll be more
mock draft ready and speak on the actual prospects themselves as the draft gets closer. We're more on the free agents than the draft right now.
So I wanna talk on another player.
Here we go.
Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard. I said this last episode. If you don't give him a big deal, give him a franchise tag. Give him a franchise tag. He is top 5 running back in the NFL right now. He did it on $1 million to Zeke's friggin' what was Zeke making? 18, 20 million? Mel Kiper got them traded in the 2 and 12 pick to the Bears #1. That's crazy. Mel Kiper might be spot on half the time. Mel Kiper might be all kind of out of bounds, all kind of.
He just talks about his ass sometimes.
You got the Bears at 1. They got Justin Fields. They're debating if they're going to keep or trade Justin Fields, or are they going to keep or trade the #1 pick? And if they keep the pick, they want to draft a quarterback. It's too soon to give up on Mr. Justin Fields. His game, he got sacked 7 times. It means you lack an offensive line. You build around Mr. Justin Fields.
Well, it's also hard to.
I'm a Mr. Justin Fields advocate.
I'm an advocate for him, but it's also.
I'm not about replacing my quarterback after 2, 3, 4 years.
No. I'm not saying replace him. I'm saying obviously.
Freaking quarterback.
I think they keep the #1. Well, I ain't gonna lie though. 2 and 12, that's not bad because like they need multiple pieces.
Correct. So if I'm the Texans.
You could get possibly 2 cornerstone players.
You start in the trenches. What does that mean?
You do start in the trenches. Yeah.
O-line.
Yeah.
D-line. O-line.
That's where the game is won at.
That's where the game is won at. You get some big men, 300-pound men, preferably from Georgia and Alabama. Men.
Drunk. Tony Pollard broke his leg.
He sure did.
He broke his leg.
Not his ACL. Yeah, not his. He did break.
It wasn't his ACL. He broke.
He did break his leg. It's against 49ers. Shout out to 49ers. Me and Matt watched that game at 49er bar. It was 49ers and Cowboys, and then I remember Tony Pollard breaking his leg, and then it felt that was Zeke's opportunity to be like, hey, I'm still here. I'm the savior. We got this. And I think he dropped the pass.
And then what happened?
He fumbled the pass or two, and then got knocked down on the last play. Remember when he played center?
And then L.
Remember he played center?
L. And then they lost. So, I mean, Zeke, man, I think it's coming on. It's almost over, bro.
So Tony Pollard, you signed. If you're the Cowboys, you sign Tony Pollard to the deal that he wants, or at the very least, you franchise tag him. You do not risk losing Tony Pollard this offseason if you're the Dallas Cowboys. That would be insane. That would be insane. Yes, you let Ezekiel Elliott walk. Do you let Tony Pollard walk? Why would they? That'd be insane. The fact that he would leave would be insane.
So it's another one to talk about, and I know you want to talk about this guy too. Jimothy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo, the only active player with multiple Super Bowl rings with Tom Brady's retirement. That is a fact. He's got 2.
No.
He's active. He's got.
Who just won the Super Bowl?
He's got no. Before that, I'm tripping. Correct. So him. Okay. Him and him. Okay.
Patrick Mahomes, boy.
There you go. Him and him. Okay. My bad. Before that. Okay. So now he's.
Don't say that, drunk. My bad. He said, "Watch Zeke be on the Ravens next year."
Nice.
He probably will.
So yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo. Like I said, you know, if you know, he gave us a lot the past 5-6 years. He was Colin Kaepernick's replacement. When Colin Kaepernick played his last snap for the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo was the starting quarterback approximately 12 months later. He's been with us 5-6 years. He's had some injuries. He tore his ACL 1 year, came back, didn't miss a beat. He's won a lot of games, approximately 70% of his games with the 49ers.
And played in the Super Bowl.
Played in the Super Bowl, took the team to the Super Bowl. But he is your game manager more so than your, dynamic game changer, what have you type of quarterback. We've drafted 2 quarterbacks along the way. Trey Lance with a high draft pick 2 years ago, and then Brock Purdy with Mr. Relevant, the 262nd pick in the draft, which is the last pick in the draft in last year's draft, and he's a rookie, and he was a part of the run. So it appears that we're moving forward with our young guys, Trey Lance and Brock Purdy. We're unsure if Brock Purdy is going to be ready in time for training camp, etc. He did get hurt in the NFC Championship. Trey Lance got hurt in Game 2 of the season last year. Jimmy Garoppolo played a lot of games. In a perfect world, he stays, and we try it again one more time, with all three guys. But the odd man out is Jimmy Garoppolo. He's still a starter. He can still play. But I would have loved for him to finish the story with the 49ers, get a trophy with us, get a ring with us. At the time we paid him, he was the highest paid quarterback. He did win us a lot of games. He gave us relevancy. Before Jimmy Garoppolo, we were one of the worst teams in the NFL. So shout out to him for all the numbers that he's put up. He is arguably top 5 quarterback in franchise history. Of course, as far as wins, and win percentage. So much statistics, again, he's had a lot of good teams around him. So, shout out to Jimmy G. I feel his career would be prolonged if he stays with the home team. If he goes somewhere else, like a Jets, like a Texans, like a Buccaneers, he's not even going to smell the Super Bowl ever again. You know what I'm saying? But if he stays with the 49ers, that's his best chance back at the Super Bowl, even if it is at QB3. So
in other words, you want to keep him.
In a perfect world, we keep him because quarterback durability. We've shown that quarterbacks get hurt in our system. If it's our bad luck, or if it's the durability of the quarterbacks, is it the play calling by the coach, or is it all of it put together? And if Jimmy G played in that NFC Championship, we would have won it. If Brock Purdy didn't get hurt in that NFC Championship, we would have won it.
He said that was actually a great Garoppolo farewell speech.
Right. Because like I said, we've been through a lot of thank you, drunk. We've been through a lot of battles together, but it's looking like he's on his way out, to make more money on his fresh start. But again, he's 35. Even Steve Young advocated for him to stay, long term. He's 35. Tom Brady's 45. There's no reason he can't ride the bench, get paid, and throw him when you need him, just like he did this past year. He lost his job. We was getting ready to trade him last year. We didn't. And Trey Lance gets hurt. And from game 2 to game 10, Jimmy G was the guy, and his contract was incentive-based, based on wins, and the fact that he's playing majority of the snaps. But,
it's so hard to say goodbye.
Maybe I get more attached to players than
yesterday.
I should. But Jimmy G gave us a lot of good years, a lot of good games. I would love to see him retire 49er. I feel I'm the average 49er fan. Some love him, some hate him. Maybe not the biggest fans of him. Some are torn as far as who we should have at quarterback. But I feel Jimmy Garoppolo, his days of starting on the 49ers are over. Love to see him as a backup, but that's probably elsewhere and get starter money elsewhere.
Okay.
And my prediction, probably top 3 teams out of the top of my head, no particular order. The Buccaneers, because they just lost Tom Brady. The Jets, because they have a former 49er coordinator over there. And then the Texans, because they have a former 49er coordinator over there. And they all need a quarterback.
Okay, so it's a lot of free agents, but
Jimmy G, man.
The last free agent I want to touch on, and this is probably the last thing we're going to talk about in the episode. Oh, hold up. Is Garoppolo better than Derek Carr? Because that's the question GMs who need a QB are asking. Ooh, that's a good one. I think
Jimmy Garoppolo has won more games. Derek Carr's probably put up better numbers. So it depends on who you ask. Jimmy Garoppolo is more of the winner.
But Jimmy Garoppolo has also had a better team, though.
Okay, well, that's respectfully, that goes without saying. We've produced more Pro Bowlers.
Who's to say
better winning percentage in the past 5 years, 10 years than the Raiders, hands down.
Who's to say if you put Derek Carr on, even your team, who's to say that the same thing that happens with him doesn't happen like how they did with Matthew Stafford, and he just went to the Rams, they just Super Bowl right like that. They're very similar players.
I think we still ride out our rookies before we give the keys to anyone from the outside looking in. I feel a lot of teams, if not all the teams, they're going to be more biased and have more of an allegiance to the players they draft versus the players they trade for versus the players they sign from free agency.
Speaking of the devil, Drunk has made a prediction.
Okay, here we go.
Garoppolo back to the Patriots,
which would love to get some compensation in return, but for Jimmy Garoppolo to probably have the most success, I didn't even think I don't know why it slipped my mind. That's a great prediction. It's probably better. You're right, to him to go with the man that started his career, and for the man
who wanted him,
who wanted Tom Brady out and to keep him, and but the opposite happened. You know, it was a standstill between the owner, the coach, and both quarterbacks, Brady and Garoppolo, because he wanted to get rid of Brady and keep Garoppolo. He ended up keeping Brady and getting rid of Garoppolo.
I mean, the owner has the final say.
The owner has the final say. So. But that is what Bill Belichick wanted.
That is what.
But he has groomed Mac Jones from the ground up. He has groomed Tom Brady from the ground up, and he's groomed Jimmy Garoppolo from the ground up. So if anyone can get success out of Jimmy Garoppolo, outside of Kyle Shanahan, which is 49ers head coach, is Bill Belichick the GOAT.
All right, so last player and last thing we touch on this episode.
Shout out Jimmy G.
Do you know who I'm about to bring up? Shout out Jimmy G. And this is really more for shits and giggles, but I like to bring him up because that's just what I typically do.
Right.
So the last free agent I want to talk about is Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. He stays with the Rams.
Stays with the Rams.
Why? Especially if Matthew Stafford's career might be over as far as like injuries and age or whatever. But if you bring Stafford back, is he giving you 17 games next year? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, he's played a lot of years, but Baker Mayfield did have a big game. Remember?
He had one comeback win.
He had a game where they scored like 40 points, 50 points, or something like that.
Talking about Mayfield?
The Rams, correct.
When was this?
This was like, but it wasn't a game like worth noting because obviously the Rams didn't make the playoffs. But yeah, he had like a big game. Stays with the Rams. Unless they draft somebody or get somebody random.
I gotta look this up.
If I am the Los Angeles Rams, I bring Matthew Stafford and Baker Mayfield. Those are my two quarterbacks. You brought him in. He's already been around. So basically, this was like his showcase for his free agency for the rest of his career. But he's not going anywhere and starting after that debacle in Carolina.
When they trade for this dude? Was it right here?
Yeah, look. 51-14, the Broncos. Yeah, he fucking did that shit. 51 of what? Week 17. Rams 51 to the Broncos. Again,
his stats don't jump off the sheet that crazy though. But he had a good game.
Had a good game. There you go. So that start there, and the Rams they're starting to
followed by a very horrible game.
Right. Okay.
And also followed by an even more horrible game.
But the fact that but hear what I'm saying, bro. There's already familiarity there. He's already there. They traded for him because Matthew Stafford was out.
Baker is electric. Baker in LA is electric. He went off in that Monday night game.
Thank you. That's exactly what thank you for agreeing with my point, sir. And we looked it up and we confirmed it. They scored 50 doggone points one night out of nowhere. Out of nowhere against the Broncos. It's an NFL game against grown men.
Do it 3 weeks in a row.
Correct. But
do it all season.
But he's okay. So who else do they get at quarterback too, or the quarterback of the future? The
Shoot, let's see what their draft order is. Because they definitely lost a lot of games this year.
They've lost a lot of players this past. They've lost a few players. So
that's true.
They're not
contenders like they was 2-3 years ago. This is a middle of the road team we're talking about here, the LA Rams.
They pick what?
Second round, 36 overall. They gave up a whole lot of picks to build that Super Bowl team they had. So whatever first rounder, whoever, I don't even know. All these again, they got Ramsey from the Jags. They got friggin'
who's probably about to leave.
Right. Him. They just let go Wagner, linebacker. I don't know.
Bobby Wagner.
What's his face? Aaron Donald almost retired last year. He might be done finally this year. So they lose a lot of pieces. So again, Baker Mayfield, you got my prediction, LA Rams. LA Rams, he's already been there. He's there. What team is signing him to start? None. Zero. He's not going back to the Bronx. He's not going back to the Browns, so forget them. He's not going back to the Panthers. Forget them. The Rams traded for him. He's there. I can't think of any other team for him to go to. He's not going back to one of those teams. He's currently on the Rams. I see him staying on the Rams. Final prediction. Baker Mayfield. You brought him up.
The Rams released Bobby Wagner, and I would assume that they're trying to trade.
Right. So
they're trying to trade Ramsey to get a first round pick.
So you're getting rid of these pieces. You're starting over, right? You're starting over. You're probably not going to draft your future star quarterback second round or later. You know what I'm saying? You're still, again, I don't know how much Miles Matthew Stafford is, but he's still there until he retires. So I feel those are the top two guys in the quarterback room. I don't.
So you know what
free agent did they get?
You know what I think? I actually agree with this. But no, not this.
What?
Hot take. Baker to the XFL would be perfect.
A lot of these guys XFL would be a lot of things. You know, yeah, it would. Yeah, it would.
Baker to the XFL would make that league lit.
Yeah, a few of these guys. Yeah. Especially his counterpart on the Panthers. Because it was
Manziel Baker and Baker Mayfield.
Yes, Manziel is in the XFL, isn't he?
Is he?
Is he? Well, he was, or he was in another league, or he was somewhere. Manziel, I don't know. Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is Manziel 2.0.
He is in the USFL.
Right. So that's the other league.
But yeah. I think that's our show for today, man. We've been on for a minute.
What we got here? Right, hour 90 minutes, hour 32 time check. We talked about basketball. We talked about football. We summed up basketball in the past week. We talked about football, free agents, and the draft coming up. That will be an exciting day. I'm still advocating that we cover the draft live.
I'm with it.
Right, so that cover the draft live.
I might have to eat some chicken wings
and then,
on the air.
And we will bring you XFL news next week. We didn't do our research, so yeah, we will get to, and we might get to one of these games.
But shout out to The Rock though.
Shout out to The Rock for
stepping up, taking control of the league.
Right. He did that. I remember when the XFL first came out 20 years ago. I was in high school. It was exciting. The San Francisco team won. They had all the nicknames on the jersey.
Tommy Maddox.
He hate me. Yeah, Tommy Maddox came from there. He hate me. He was one of the big names. Some XFL players found their way to the NFL. And he even said the quarterback for one of these teams took less money to play the XFL so he could actually start and play versus being in the NFL. And then The Rock shouted him out. I'm like, oh, man, it's about, guys like this. The Rock get all emotional every time he's on.
Man.
I love The Rock. The Rock's the man.
But
so
we can cover some XFL stuff next
week. We will bring that shortly again. Because I think especially they're based out of Dallas, Texas.
It's their 4th week, so you got the Arlington Renegades.
We will cover them next week for sure. We will make it a point to. So shout out to the XFL being in Arlington, Texas, and being one of the 8 teams. And again, they're headquartered out of here, and we got one of the teams here. So.
Go Battlehawks. My city got a team.
Okay, so shout out to St. Louis. Yeah, Drunk is from St. Louis.
Yeah. I feel bad. The Rams left.
Right. You know, saying those are some exciting matchups. The 49ers against the greatest show on turf. Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. Them teams were the shit.
Callie says, my cousin works for the XFL. Might get some tickets for Sunday game. Let me know.
Let's go. Let's take the truck. Let's take the truck.
So
we get a live podcast on the thing. We got the tacos going. We're gonna have all that going. Shout out to Callie. Callie is one of the triple OGs of the building for sure. For sure.
So March 5th is Sunday, and they play the Orlando Guardians.
Here? So what Sunday 3?
Yep.
Okay.
I told you,
like, okay, if you're about it.
For some, I think they have a preseason too, and I saw the Orlando Guardians were here in Dallas.
You told me that.
Yeah, so they were here.
Shout out to Orlando. Hey man, just jump on, jump off. Shout out to the city of Orlando, huh? Remember back in the day?
Yeah.
Remember back in the day?
Yeah.
We done made some stops to Orlando.
Shout out to
Never Satisfied takeovers across the world. We've been in Orlando.
Shout out to Mike in Orlando.
Yeah, shout out to Mike. Shout out to everybody. Yeah, Orlando. Been to a Magic game. You know, we had some like I said, NS takeovers. Shout out to Orlando.
But yeah.
Memories in time. That's my point. Memories in time. Orlando, Florida.
So I think we about to sign out.
Shout
out to the sponsors.
Shout out to sponsors, partners. Again, so just to recap, this is episode
30.
Episode 30. Normal Guys Talk Sports. You got Matt got cameras, King of the Third. Shout out to us for doing the show. Let's start there. Respectfully. And then shout out to all the partner sponsors. We have Never Satisfied Studios. That's where we come to you live every week, typically Tuesday. Shout out to everyone here at the studio, from the CEO, Radar Heem, to all the artists, to everyone behind the scenes. It takes a village. It takes a whole football team. That's how I look at the studio. Everyone here, we're one big old football team, you know, on our way to winning Super Bowls. So shout out to everyone that contributes to the building, that has in the past, that currently has, and shout out to everyone in the future that is a part of this. Shout out to the clothing line, Shop Never Satisfied. A lot of good designs there. We got Quiz and Sensei and Spoon, all the fellas doing a lot of things with the clothes and everything else around here. We got the restaurant, Bistro 808. We always doing some events there. Next event coming soon. I don't know the next one off the top of my head, but shout out to everybody at the restaurant, everyone there. Shout out to Calio's Tacos, big homie.
Callie, I might just need to hit up, see what Callie doing, because I want some tacos, I want an enchilada.
Some XFL tickets.
You know what I'm saying? I want to support the truck.
Callie always looking out.
I'm trying to get something to eat.
Callie plugged. Okay, you said it before we log out. Callie plugged us in with Boxing Can.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, me and Matt, we've had spent some man hours over there. Me and Matt talking about going there soon. So shout out to Callie. Shout out to Boxing Can and his
that's my guy though, Boxing
his
Can.
establishment that he's got going. His training facility. Who else? Shout out to artists Never Satisfied. Shout out to all the podcasts. Normal Guys Talk Sports, of course. We got Shit I Don't Know with Lance and them. Lance was just in here. Keep going. He started this podcast stuff.
Come on, Lance.
We got Smoke Detector with 23 Cups.
He's up next.
He'll tune in. We got Timeout Podcast with Susie Mack and
Lil Mike and Jay Long.
I've only met them like once or twice in real life, but shout out to them. I want to be on the show one of these days, so shout out to them. We have them. We have DJ Kev in the live DJ, show. He comes on Thursdays. Shout out to Ghost and Nate Passion and everybody.
The Wall.
That's reviewing music coming soon. Reviewing music, performances, what have you. So that's all the podcasts here, and my two potential future shows down the road are version of the Breakfast Club. I already announced that, and Chess Club. I've already announced that.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to do a Chess Club for sure. For sure. So all the shows, all our platforms, of course. We got the YouTube, the Facebook, the Twitch, the TikTok, the Instagram. everything, all our platforms. What else? Oh, and shout out everything is both the movie coming soon. Shout out to Dynasty, the movie coming soon.
Private Dancer, the movie as well.
Oh yeah. Whatever Matt got going on. Private Dancer, the movie. I don't think I heard that.
That's a new joint.
The new joint coming out. Okay, bet. Shout out to all the supporters. Shout out to the 2 people watching live, 3 people watching live right now.
And shout out to the people who gonna watch the recap. You know what I'm saying? People will be watching it afterwards.
Yeah, the recap, of course, that's majority of the views. But again, that's the majority of the views. And we work real hard to market the show. I worked real hard this past week to push the last episode.
Shout out to Ed on the marketing team.
Come on, the marketing team. We will hire you. Come on, if you help me market, I'll be spending a lot of good hours marketing this show. But thank you for everyone, all the supporters. On the road to 100, we're concluding episode 30. This is episode 30, Normal Guys Talk Sports, February 28th, year 2023. What was I going to say? Shout out to my cousin Josh. It's his birthday. He's a leap year baby. So shout out to my cousin Josh. He was in the Navy. Shout out to my cousins. I hate that I didn't bring them up earlier. But shout out to my cousins, Angela and John Paul. They're out of L.A. They were at the game, Kings and Clippers. So I hate I didn't bring them up. That's what I forgot. So shout out to my cousin Josh. Again, it's his birthday. He's a leap year baby. And shout out to my cousins, Angela and John Paul. They were at the Kings at Clippers within a week ago. Shout out to my Filipino bloodline, my cousins for sure.
I think we out of here.
We are out of here. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Signing off. My name is Edward. This is Matt. Y'all have a great week. Enjoy your sports, and we'll see you next week on Normal Guys Talk Sports.